Hey, it's Debbie, and I wanted to do a short video on the role of NAD in the body and other key items as I'm doing some research on a supplement company called Particular. And on their page, they have the science behind different products that they sell individually. So they're not all in one bottle. So, do you need to add in this supplement into your daily routine and why? So, what I was wanting to share with you, how I look at products and dive in. So, if I look at the role of NAD, for example, we can see articles galore on the internet. And one person I always like to go to learn is Sean Wells. Sean Wells has some great resources on his website. But first of all, let's look at a complicated Krebs cycle and how NAD is involved. Now, I'm obviously, as you listen to me, not actually as physiologist. I am a continual student and always wanting to dive in a little bit deeper. Now, on this infographic, you can see the mitochondria and how we create ATP in the mitochondria, and then the role of NAD and NAD plus specifically. And I will try to find someone to dive in deeper so they can explain it. But you can see when you're looking at pictures, at least the word NAD you can see is involved. So this other infographic on science.org article talking about NAD and aging. And if we have lower levels of NAD plus available on board and the precursors to it, how is this all related to our aging processes? My focus is how to be fit and healthy from the inside out at a cellular level as we age. So we can dive into these different roles of ingredients as resveratrol, NMN, TMG. What are all these products? So if we understand the why, I think that always helps, and look at the role it plays. But looking at NAD first, SeanWells.com, he wrote this article 2022. What is NAD? So let's just review what he says is did you know that nearly 2 out of every 3 Americans rarely wake up energized and rested? This means that 65% of you suffer from brain fog, body aches, poor concentration, low energy. Along with that comes a mental strain. And this only gets worse as we age. And this is why I want to dive into all this. Instead of blaming the aging process, understand what happens as we get older that these symptoms become more common. It's more not accepting this as your new normal, but understanding the mechanism of action. What do we produce less of as we get older? As collagen production and the role of our skin health and cellular energy and oxidative stress and all these different topics I'm trying to dive into on the video and audio podcast. So Sean Wells has this great information on here that NAD plays a critical role in energy metabolism by helping to turn food into usable energy. It also helps certain enzymes involved in the vital cellular functions, such as cellular repair, cellular defense. NAD has also been referred to as the fundamental housekeeping molecule, a key modulator of cell signaling and survival pathways, as well as modulator of longevity and health. So you may see NAD injections, NAD IV, NAD precursor supplements, and more. Why is this so essential? We can see here that NAD helps with regenerating cells, reducing inflammation, promoting healthy brain function, fighting chronic fatigue, and slowing cognitive decline, which I don't know about you, that All those items are super essential and important to me as I prioritize my health to improve my quality of life and avoiding cognitive decline. So, our NAD levels drop with age, and chronic inflammation causes a reduction in NAD levels. Excess alcohol consumption, excess UV exposure, inadequate sleep, poor diet, viral infections, and sedentary lifestyle also cause a reduction in these levels. And so we can read on article, but he does talk about what can we do to raise our NAD levels. Now, you can go on to his blog. I'll put the link in the show notes, but there's NAD IVs. It's a high dose vitamin B3, niacin, taking NMN or NR or precursors, as well as red light therapy. 3 important biomarkers he mentions here to get tested to get an idea of how your mitochondria are functioning includes on your blood chemistry panel, you can get this HSCRP, your high sensitivity C-reactive protein, HbA1c, and oxidized LDL, low density lipoprotein. We've talked a lot about mitochondria over the years on my podcast and just a recent amazing interview with Dr. Patel. But mitochondria resilience, as Sean Wells says, is needing to be a major focus in the future. Nearly every disease and almost all biological aging can be tied back to mitochondria health. That we need enough energy is directly related to mitochondria health. So this is why I continue to focus on mitochondria health, measuring your metabolism, and doing what we can do to improve our health at a cellular level includes supplementing what we're not getting enough of through our food and looking at what we can do to improve the aging process without over supplementing. So looking at red light therapy and sauna and cold therapy and exercise and what is the right way to improve this. So 3 biomarkers he also talks about vitamin D3 we want to look at, iron and ferritin as oxygen is required to produce energy, and iron levels determine your oxygen carrying capacity, and of course, your thyroid function. And he talks about how we can measure your energy, just intuition. How do you feel when you wake up? Are you wide awake? Is it a struggle to get out of bed every day? How's your energy throughout the day? How difficult are daily tasks as walking your dog, carrying groceries? What is your emotional state? How does sugar, energy, caffeinated drinks make you feel? Other stimulant cravings do you have? So, answer any of these questions if you want to check in with your energy levels, how you're feeling. Now, this is on Sean's website. Let's head to this company I'm investigating on their products, if I can find one of my precursors. So they have different ingredients here, particular. You can look at their website. I wanted to dive into the science behind NMN. So if we zoom in here, NMN is an indirect role in survival of every one of our cells. Taking a viewpoint here of cellular level as we age, we want to dive into these topics here. Everything happening in any life form, breathing, moving, even thinking, is based on biochemical reactions. Every biochemical reaction requires energy. Our bodies take energy from food, as we just went over, and mitochondria convert the energy from food into ATP, energy every cell uses in the body, not just your muscles when you're exercising. A protagonist in energy production is a molecule called NAD. NAD is found in 2 forms, NAD plus oxidized form and NADH, a reduced form. NAD is a coenzyme, a molecule that helps other proteins and enzymes do their job. So one of these jobs is producing energy in the mitochondria and reducing oxidative stress. Now, as we focus on talking about being fit and healthy as we age, especially as more active individuals, what do we need to do as we are creating more oxidative stress as we exercise? And we have less antioxidant production and as we age, and we need to look at two things. We're exercising a lot if you're an endurance athlete, and then aging against us and what we need to do to counteract so we can improve the aging process. So NAD, as this says, is used or is participating in more than 50% of all biochemical reactions in our bodies. One of these processes is DNA repair and keeping the DNA intact. With time, DNA accumulates errors, mutations that, if left uncorrected, cause diseases as cancer. NAD collaborates with PRP, an enzyme responsible for correcting these errors and keeping the DNA healthy. NAD is a partner of CD38, a protein receptor expressed in plasma cells, and plays a role in your immune function, cancer, metabolic diseases. Another group of enzymes that NAD activates, the sirtuins we've heard a lot about, proteins of longevity. They're well known for promoting healthy aging and longevity. Sirtuins are instrumental for the proper functioning of cells, including oxidative balance and DNA repair. As a result, their high activity is necessary for good cardiovascular, cognitive, metabolic, and immune function. So, just reviewing that, let's go back to that picture here and seeing NAD plus, we see the word sirtuins, PRPs, ATP, and NMN. So you hear these supplements. We hear about NMN, taking True Niagen. There's different supplements you can take. Now, if I look at NMN that you can get from particular, converts directly to NAD plus. It's declining by age 50%. And this NMN molecule activates SIRT2 and 1 and SIRT3 for DNA repair that we just went over and mitochondrial biogenesis. So they told me that a clinical application dose would be 250 milligrams is one capsule, I assume. So taking 2 a day would give you 500 milligrams. Because I always ask what the dose is based on the research to help DNA repair and mitochondrial biogenesis. How much NMN do I need to take at my age, height, and weight, and gender? This says for performance benefits, NAD plus by 60 to 90% humans, enhancing endurance. So increasing NAD plus by 60 to 90% if I take 1 to 2 capsules. So that's for NMN. Now the Ca, which is always calcium, AKG, and that's alpha ketoglutarate. What does that do? Helps in the Krebs cycle and helps improve ATP production. This can help extend lifespan 12% in mammals via epigenetic regulation. What is the dosage? It says 500 to 1,000 milligrams a day. Helps lower senescent cells by 30% in aging models. And that's in mammals. I think looking at, well, you got to look at who is this research study done on, and monitor calcium if hypercalcemic. So that's another one I'm researching. And this product I've heard a lot about over the years, spermidine. Now, this induces autophagy, cellular recycling comparable to fasting, helps preserve telomere length, and suggested 1 capsule is 5 to 10 milligrams a day. And performance benefits, they told me arterial stiffness is decreased by 15% in athletes. Okay, so that'd be good. So I feel like I need all these. Now, berberine I've been taking on and off. Helps with AMPK activation, improves insulin sensitivity, as does metformin. Modulates gut microbiota for metabolic health, always good. Dose 500 milligrams per day, 1 capsule with meals. Performance benefit decreases your LDL by 25% and fasting glucose by 20%. So berberine, I think, is pretty powerful. And Sean Wells was telling me which one to take. So I'll see which type of berberine they have. It's more bioavailable. So this company in particular is third-party tested, something you always want to look at: heavy metals, microbes, potency, the bioavailability you always want to look at, and exploring their clinical dosing protocols on their website. This is what I'm looking at, each one, the science behind each supplement. As quercetin, we've heard a lot about. Spermidine, I just mentioned. I think that's interesting for cell autophagy and more. So if you're curious, let me know. I can send you the information. But my key part here to understand, how do we know what can I create as a protocol or a screening? Which supplement would I need? Because you read through this, and when we're trying to create a personalized program for someone, using myself as a guinea pig, I feel that I could benefit from everything. But we don't want to take 30 different supplements. Was it Brian Johnson taking 100 supplements? So as an aging endurance athlete, middle age, working on improving my cellular health and mitochondria, I do want to improve performance. Running is something that's always a struggle for me. I can bike really strong. Had a great bike ride yesterday, but my run today was really a walk. My legs wouldn't move. So I did a lot of hill ride with some intervals yesterday. So I take longer to recover. But what I'm curious about, how I can help myself in the mitochondria, help recovery and repair. But do we need all these, right? So if you have questions, let me know what to talk about. Here are ways to learn, particular.com, and looking at their True Age Complete Test Kit, which I've done, diving into your aging metrics, and then their testing kit bundle, and looking at True Age Collection. I did a podcast with True Age and looking at what we need to do. Which ingredients do you need? So let's test and not guess. Check out their health quiz on here, and you can figure out what you need to take based on what they're saying. And then let me know if you're interested. I think our code, I'll get a discount code if we want to try this. It's good to take the quiz first and maybe do some testing, do your research. Let me know if you have questions. I do individual coaching with personalized programs, but looking at what areas of opportunity you have, what are your limitations, and what we need to improve on longevity wise, and do your metabolism testing, and even what Dr. Patel's doing, the mitochondria testing, I want to add into my coaching programs for clients. Do I need to boost energy and NAD levels? Yes. Do I need to activate sirtuins, promote longevity and their efficiency for NAD? Promotes autophagy, inhibiting mTOR. Both of these activities contribute healthy aging. Do I need to promote longevity? Yes. Do I need to support DNA report? Yes. But am I going to take a zillion different supplements? No, because I also need magnesium, essential fatty acids, essential amino acids. I'm taking a thyroid T3 supplement. I'm taking my probiotics via my yogurt that I'm making based on Dr. William Davis. I call it yogurt or ProGurt. And then, no, whatever else I'm on. So that's my just short little video, but go back to how cells make energy. To optimize mitochondrial performance and healthy aging, we need mTOR, NA, and PK, but in this part, to create cellular energy, we want to improve aging process, improving DNA repair, getting those sirtuins to help make AMPK, and we need NAD plus and ADH to create energy. So that was a good article. This is on neurohacker.com. All right, so let me know what your questions are, and we'll do a deep dive podcast on mitochondrial health and NAD, NAD plus, and ADH, and dive into it. If you really want to know more, I will do a PowerPoint presentation slideshow to go through the ingredients and supplements. But check out Particular and let me know if you want to talk to them about which supplement is best for you. I'll send you the link. Thanks for listening. Let's look at what we can do to improve our future self and be our best self in the future. right?